There is a version of you that died years ago. You never noticed. There was no funeral, no goodbye, nothing. And yet almost every single cell that made up the person you were 7 years ago is gone now, quietly replaced, one at a time, while you were busy living your life. The skin you're in right now is only a few weeks old. The lining of your stomach replaces itself every few days, because if it didn't, your own stomach acid would digest you from the inside. Your bones, which feel like the most permanent, solid part of you, are completely rebuilt roughly every 10 years. Piece by piece, your body is tearing itself down and building itself back up, constantly, and you are almost never aware of it happening. So here's the question that should genuinely bother you. If the physical stuff you're made of keeps getting swapped out, if the atoms that spelled out you a decade ago are now scattered across the planet, then why do you still feel like you? Why is there an unbroken sense of being one single person from your earliest memory all the way to this exact moment when the material doing the feeling has been replaced again and again? This is one of the oldest puzzles in human thought, and the answer is stranger than most people ever realize. Let's get into it. The first thing to understand is that your body is not a thing, it's a process. We tend to picture ourselves like a statue, a fixed object sitting in the world. But you are much more like a flame or a whirlpool in a river. A whirlpool looks like a solid, stable object. You can point at it, you can name it. But the actual water making up that whirlpool is never the same water twice. New water flows in, old water flows out, and the pattern, the shape, the swirl is the only thing that stays. Destroy the pattern and the whirlpool is gone, even though every drop of water is still right there. You are the swirl, not the water. Different parts of you turn over at wildly different speeds. The cells lining your gut are among the fastest, lasting just a few days before they're shed and replaced. Your red blood cells last around 4 months, ferrying oxygen millions of times before they wear out and get recycled. The surface of your skin flakes away and renews so constantly that a huge portion of household dust is literally you, former you, drifting through the air and settling on your shelves, which means in a very real sense you are slowly redecorating your home with your own retired body. Sit with that one for a second. But now we hit the twist, the part that keeps this from being a simple story about renewal, because not everything about you gets replaced. There are cells in your body that were with you on the day you were born and will be with you on the day you die. The neurons in the core of your brain, most of them are never swapped out. You are running on largely the same core wiring you had as a small child. And here is the truly mind-bending part. Even those long-lasting cells are not made of permanent material. The molecules inside them, the atoms, the raw stuff, still get exchanged with the outside world through the food you eat and the air you breathe. So even the cell that has been with you your entire life is not made of the same matter it started with. It has kept its identity while completely changing its substance. That neuron is doing on a tiny scale exactly what you are doing on a large one, staying itself while everything it's made of moves on. So if it's not the matter that makes you you, what is it? The best answer we have is that you are not a substance at all. You are information. You are a pattern. Specifically, you are the pattern of connections between those brain cells, the particular way they're wired together, strengthened and reshaped by everything you've ever experienced. Your memories, your habits, your fears, the sound of your mother's voice, the embarrassing thing you said in the 7th grade that still makes you cringe, all of it is stored not in specific unchanging atoms but in the arrangement, the structure, the pattern that persists even as the atoms flow through. Think about a song. A song isn't the vinyl record, or the file on your phone, or the vibrating air. It's the pattern that all of those things can carry. You can copy it to a new device and it's still the same song. The medium changed completely. The song survived. You are like that. Your body is just the current device your pattern happens to be running on, and that device is being upgraded and swapped part by part your whole life long. This reframes something we usually find frightening. We think of change as loss. We mourn the person we used to be. But change isn't the enemy of who you are. Change is the very thing keeping you alive. The moment your body stops replacing its cells, the moment the flow stops and everything sits still, that's not preservation. That's death. Stillness is the end. The constant restless renewal, the dying and rebuilding you never even feel, is the price of continuing to exist at all. And there's something quietly beautiful hidden in here, too. The atoms in your body didn't come from nowhere. The carbon in your cells, the oxygen you breathe, the iron in your blood, all of it was forged inside ancient stars that exploded long before the Earth existed. You are borrowing this material for a while. It passed through countless other forms before it became you, and it will pass into countless forms after. For a brief window of time, this particular swirl of stardust arranged itself into a pattern complex enough to wonder about itself. To ask the question you're hearing right now, so the version of you from 7 years ago really is gone. But that was never the tragedy it sounds like. You were never the material. You were always the story the material was telling. And as long as that story keeps going, as long as the pattern holds, you continue, no matter how many times the stuff underneath gets quietly and visibly replaced. The you watching this will be gone in a few years too. Replaced, renewed, carried forward. Not lost, just flowing. So the next time you feel like you're not the person you used to be, you can smile, because you're right, you're not. You never could be, and that turns out to be the only reason you're still here at all. If this rearranged something in your head, there's another question waiting for you. Where exactly do your memories live, if the cells storing them keep changing? That's the next video. Subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.